By 68, a lot of things had happened in the black community. You know, the Black Power movement, student protest movements. Plus, you know, by that time there were a lot of black students, more than black students on Northern's campus. And we had a pledge line at that time. They were pledging Kappa Alpha Rho. So we converted them to pledging Kappa Alpha Psi, and any brother at Northern who was not a Kappa, even if he had been a member of Kappa Alpha Rho for 2 years, suddenly had to give up his office. Like one brother, he was vice president. He had to get on the pledge line. So you can imagine how that was a problem. And then to top it off, he's on the pledge line, and the pledges are still saying, "Big brother." He said, "Man, don't call me big brother no more," because they were around us, and we said, "How in the hell, you ain't no big brother, man? What?" And he tell them, "Man, don't do that. You all get me into trouble when you do that." But you know, it's hard to change overnight from calling a guy big brother to a pledge on your pledge line. But it all worked out.
Our line was like a community, and we some kind of way figured it out how to get things done, you know, and it was quite an experience.
We were the largest line ever in the Midwest, maybe one of the largest around the country. When we were online, brothers couldn't understand it from around other chapters. They came to say, "We got to see this."
Forming a bond was important to the members of EO. The chapter was known around campus for two things: their public image and their unity.
It was just 200 blacks out of 22,000 students. 200 of us was black. At that time, we didn't think that because of where we came from, that we belonged. They made us feel like we belonged. I know we were men. We were definitely men. Let me put it like this: there were no punks on my line. So they couldn't throw nothing at us that we couldn't deal with, you know. But in the end, it made us men.
The Kappa presence on the campus of Northern Illinois was strong. I mean, there were probably 100 brothers on the yard at the time. And they weren't just t-shirt wearers. They were in academic positions. They had jobs at the university. You know, they were all going for their degrees. So I was impressed.
It was a hell of a feeling, because I never experienced that, at being an organization of brotherhood and different in America. And when I went to Kappa Carnival on that note in 1976, that experience was overwhelming.
The Kappas on the yard at NIU were, you know, absolutely, you know, top shelf. We ran the yard. We had a couple of very large events like the Sweethearts Ball that basically turned the town out once a year, on or around Valentine's Day. We had a lot of athletes, you know, who had played either basketball or football for the university. We had a brother who was in the administration, John Wilson. So it was just a very prestigious black organization on the campus.
You ventured around campus and you were singing a lot. And you were singing as a group, because you could never go any place by yourself. So it was always at least two or more of us together.
We pretty much dominated. I mean, everybody knew who the Kappas were. Still do, for that matter. But it was, you know, we were very visible on the yard, clearly, with, you know, 40, 45 brothers from, I was a freshman, a second semester freshman when I pledged. So there were brothers who were older than me that were juniors and seniors and grad students along with us young guys. So we were well represented all over the campus.
With our particular line, we had, because really only one of us was a freshman, most of us had established ourselves somewhere in some areas at NIU where there were a number of people that already kind of knew us. So we had some recognition that I think, you know, bode well for us in the pledge period, as well as the brothers who were initiating us too.
We were at the top of the heap, I should say, and things for people to aspire to do. All the other fraternities and sororities, they didn't have a house. The black fraternity sororities, so you know, it was always we got to go to the Kappa house again, you know, but that's what it was. You know, we were the only one with the house, and we didn't mind sharing that. You know, it was for the black experience.
And here we are, a fraternity with all these guys on campus, and you look at the other fraternities and sororities. Yeah, they were close in numbers, but we far outnumbered them. So this was something that I think people saw, and they said, "That's the fraternity to join."
I was at homecoming, and a couple of young ladies came up to me and she said, y'all really love each other. She said, I ain't never seen nobody treat their members the way y'all treat y'all members. She said, everybody can just tell. She said, it's like a family reunion when y'all get together. I said, you're right. I said, we just got that love, that bond that would never break.
I think that we had certainly raised the awareness of the strength of the frat. And I also believe that when people were looking at us, they saw some gentlemen who were strong in character, strong physically, strong emotionally. And that's what I believe that people saw. I think that they saw Kappa Alpha Psi as a very viable fraternity.
You're as pretty as a picture, and as sweet as you can be, for I love you so sincerely. You are all this world to me, and if ever Like many chapters, EO affiliated with a group of young women. These women were called sweethearts.
We go to the dorms when school started, help them carry their bags up, introduce ourselves, tell them a little about the fraternity, tell them something about the campus. And so when we had our sweetheart cohort, we had over 100 that came out, and we took around 40 because you know we didn't have room for 100 sweethearts. We didn't, so we took 40, and those young ladies, they worked hard for Kappa Alpha Psi.
You really realize that a lot of these young ladies were away from home for the first time, and so they looked at, especially the social chairman, as somebody they can look up to and come to for guidance. And you had to kind of put yourself in that position that you was like, wow, I'm really in a leadership role, not only to my position as a social chairman, but also to these young ladies. So you had to kind of, you know, make sure that you are being an effective leader and provide counseling and guidance, because they would come to you with a lot of issues other than you know, anything that had to do with the frat. I mean, you really were a big brother to them for the most part. But we had a lot of ladies. We respect the ladies, you know, and hopefully their involvement with the frat was a good experience for them as well.
Historically, sweethearts were the wives or girlfriends of members. Eventually, a directive from the Grand Chapter to disband these organizations caused the groups to operate solely on their own. However, to this day, Kappa sweethearts are still close to the brothers of EO.
For I love you and adore you. You're my Kappa Alpha Psi.